Hi everyone, today is August 8th, 2019. It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I am at Penn Station. Well, across the street from Penn Station. I'll be doing a walk from Penn Station to Grand Central Terminal today. Right now it is 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 29 degrees Celsius. Penn Station is home to Long Island Railroad, Amtrak, and New Jersey Transit. So this video will give you an idea of how long it will take to walk from Penn Station to Grand Central Terminal, which is the home of Metro North. Long Island Railroad is also planning to come to Grand Central with the construction of East Side Access, but that's not available yet as of this date. It's a very busy area here. Across the street is Hotel Pennsylvania. Penn Station is actually very large. You can't really see it from up here because all of this station is underground. It extends all the way from 31st Street to 34th Street between 7th and 8th Avenues. If you were to get to Grand Central Terminal by subway, I would recommend taking the 1, 2, or 3 trains and then changing to the number 7 train. You can also take the A, C, and E trains, but I wouldn't recommend it because once you get to 42nd Street, that station is the Port Authority bus terminal and you'll have to walk 1 block underground to transfer to the 7 train. And I also wouldn't recommend changing to the Grand Central Shuttle at 42nd Street because that transfer is very, very long when compared to the number 7 train, which I find is also more reliable because the Grand Central Shuttle doesn't run overnight. So there's actually a variety of ways you can walk. I'm just going up 7th Avenue until 42nd Street and then making a right on 42nd Street. Looks like I didn't make the light, but this is 34th Street, the Macy's headquarters building, and the Empire State Building. There's a hop on and hop off bus, top view, starting from $29. Now this building, the Macy's building, has plans to build offices on the upper levels. So maybe they're going to construct an additional floor to the top, but we'll see. This is the largest department store in the world according to Macy's. This is Thursday afternoon, everybody, and it's already so busy. You would think that people will be working or have plans, but there's just so many people that come to New York that it just makes this area very, very crowded. You also get a lot of the Midtown crew coming out for lunchtime, although I feel it is a little bit late for that. Most people take their lunch hour around 1 o'clock, I would say. Love the color of those people's hair in front of me. So here's an electronics store, camera and computers. I wouldn't recommend buying electronics from there because many of those stores charge higher prices, and oftentimes they will actually sell second-hand equipment as new, and then you can't return it because of their return policy. The city has been trying to expand the sidewalk here with these pedestrian plazas blocked off by the planters. It is a temporary solution. It's not as efficient as expanding the sidewalk directly, but it works for now. I do find that people actually prefer the sidewalk rather than this extension. And understandably so, because you're still off the curb, and then bicyclists or other vehicles can still come in here even though it's blocked off by these planters. Someone dropped their suit there on the floor. Let me tell you, getting those suits cleaned is very expensive. Dry cleaning doesn't come cheap in New York City. And you don't want to throw those suits into the washing machine. It needs to be chemically treated. This is Midtown, everyone. A lot of traffic. Look at this, going through a red light, making a right turn in front of this car, and then they're forced to stop. It's best to be aware in the city of everything that's going around you, whether it's people walking too close to you that may pickpocket you, or traffic, getting hit by something, looking up too. Sometimes you have birds who will do number 2 on you. During the winter time, you have icicles melting from the side of these skyscrapers and then landing on top of you. These are all the risks you face in walking in Manhattan. Make sure to look both ways before you cross, even if you have a one-way street. And then these sidewalk extensions don't make sense because these scaffolding companies or the building owners aren't required to bring their scaffolding over these sidewalk extensions. So that's another con of these sidewalk extensions. Not only is it less safe than a direct extension of the sidewalk, but the scaffolding companies aren't required to extend the protection to the curb, or past the curb, actually. I respect all the drivers of New York City. It takes a certain kind of character to deal with all the traffic and everybody walking and all the cyclists. I find it a lot more efficient to just walk and take public transportation where I need to go, and cycling as well. There's also the issue of finding parking, which is another thing. And then in Manhattan especially, there aren't really any gas stations beyond Washington Heights, maybe. There's very few gas stations in Manhattan. Many of them have actually been developed into different properties or sold off because it's a more efficient use of the space. The property owners can get more income from the building that's built in replacement of the gas station rather than operating the gas station itself. So that's a victim of New York's success. That's a very interesting sculpture. You have a clothing button in front of the Chase bank branch. It says a better button coming soon on that structure in front. As you can hear, New York City is very loud as well. There's no way to escape from the noise in the city like this during peak times. I wonder if you could even hear me. So you see there were some pedestrians that crossed against the light, and that car was forced to stop in the crosswalk. So you can't really blame all the drivers for their wrongdoings, although it's much better to anticipate. My gosh, it's loud here. Okay, I'm just about to enter Times Square. Just look at that. There's cyclists who just disobeyed the traffic signal there. Could have been very, very deadly if people aren't aware. So I won't be going through Times Square. I'm just going up to 42nd Street. But Times Square varies a lot depending on when you come, what time you come. For example, I did a walk during the evening, and there was packed shoulder-to-shoulder pedestrian traffic. And then I believe on August 5th, I did a walk during the early morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was very comfortable in Times Square. There was hardly any people, and you could walk wherever you wanted to go. So if you want to check that video out, you can. You know, I'm just going to cross 42nd Street this way. And there you have a speeding cyclist making a right turn without slowing down for pedestrian traffic at all. You do have to be careful of them.
The one that's going to be...
Here's Times Square, everyone. H&M Ariana Grande on the screen there.
So it's been really good. And then I have like a couple of things in the pipeline, like
Here's where I would not cross against the light here because these cars can make a sudden right turn. And see this cyclist? He's trying to make a right turn and then people are just walking in front of him with the do not walk signal on. Let's see how this car goes. And that cyclist almost got hit by the turning car. That one was going the wrong way. So you have to look both ways and behind you because there may be a cyclist coming the wrong way. Like here, there's the sugar cube here and I have to look behind me for cyclists and then I could go. And I have to go behind the taxi cab. This is very challenging trying to go straight when most of the pedestrian traffic wants to go downtown, but it's an art that you do have to master when walking in large crowds. In general, it's always best to stay to the right. Here we have NYPD with heavy weapons attached. It's a sign of the times what security has to deal with in the city. Just a few days ago, might have even been 2 days ago, there was a motorcycle that went through Times Square and then they used their backfire and it sounded like gunshots. It sent everybody scrambling for cover and causing a huge stampede. People actually got trampled and hurt. So that's what kind of stuff can happen around here. Here's a public plaza. The Verizon Plaza. So I have just approached 6th Avenue. Across the street is Bryant Park. Look at this, that lady was shuffling around, not having her hands on the steering wheel until the driver behind her honked their horn. Oh my goodness. That's New York for you. Just walk against the light. Hope you don't get hit. But regarding Bryant Park, I've done many videos of Bryant Park. Be sure to check those out if you'd like to see it, especially during the different seasons. It's really different in the winter time when they had the Winter Village in New York City. I just wanted to mention that this is probably the most crowded walk to from Penn Station to Grand Central Terminal that you can take. There are much quieter streets that you can take than 7th Avenue and 42nd Street. You can go eastbound on 32nd, which isn't nearly as crowded as this, and then head north on Park Avenue. But I just chose this way because I want to show you the liveliness of the city. Here there's an interview going on. Looks like a religious interview.
64th Street.
Coming up ahead is one of my favorite public restrooms in New York City. Even though it's small, the Bryant Park staff take extremely good care of its condition. It's cleaned very often, and it even has fresh flowers and scents inside, so you're always feeling relaxed. They even play classical music inside the restroom. And to think that in the 70s and 80s, Bryant Park was falling into major disrepair.
Right there. South Light.
This here is the New York Public Library's main branch, sitting in Bryant Park. There's actually a huge collection of the New York Public Library underneath Bryant Park. A lot of traffic going westbound on 42nd Street. I didn't know there was so much crosstown traffic at this time, but I guess it is to be expected. It's still tourist season and a lot of airport shuttles run along here, public buses, deliveries, trucks. I see a lot of people who are less fortunate on the side here when I was walking along 42nd Street. It's a real shame to see, and I do hope society takes good care of them. We all need to do our part to help the less fortunate. Especially like a person like him. So sad to see. Here's 5th Avenue. One of the most well-known streets in the world. That vendor just peeled a mango so quickly. If they do that for a living, they're very proficient at it. Another person in need outside of McDonald's. This is the Chrysler building in front of me. Designed in the Art Deco style. There's Sephora, the perfume and scent store, and beauty supplies. This building at the corner of Madison Avenue and 42nd Street is called the ⁴ Vanderbilt building. It's still going up under construction. There was a hole in the ground a few years ago. Now look at it. I'm passing Madison Avenue now. Synonymous with the advertising and marketing industry. So here's Grand Central Terminal. Very majestic.
I am in the city right now, actually.
That eagle on the corner of the railing at Vanderbilt Avenue and 42nd Street is actually the only one remaining here. The other eagles are actually relocated in other parts in the world. Some of them have been located in people's backyards and in public parks, but that's the only one that's left. The top of that sculpture, I believe the artist actually didn't want to see his creation finished because he didn't like how New York architecture looked.
Videotaping.
Yeah, of course I'm videotaping. Pretty obvious. So here's the Pershing Square Viaduct, where the vehicles are going up on to go around the Hemsley building, and also the MetLife building, also formerly known as the Pan Am building. So I'm just about to enter Grand Central Terminal. That didn't take too long from Penn Station, but if it's too long for you, you can always grab a cab or take the subway. But that's how long it takes, everyone. If you enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe, like, give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you all next time. See you later.